So, welcome back to this collective reading called The Runner's Regret in the Twin Flame Ascension Journey. So, why do these runners run, and then why do they regret, and what is the chaser's role, and what should the chaser do or be in order to not only gain clarity but also attract what they truly deserve to attract in terms of this journey? So, runners are running because they mirror the unhealed parts of you. Okay, so if you're listening, then of course it's you, because they are showing you something which needs to be healed, that needs to be worked upon, that needs to be released, and you are not going to do that work till the runner runs. The runner gets into distractions, the runner is not stable, and all of that is going to piss you off. It's going to irritate you, it's going to annoy you, their behavior, not taking accountability, not thinking that there are any consequences to whatever they do, and making you feel like they don't care about their feelings, not coming clean, not being truthful, not being honest, doing things that take you in a very sad space. Actually, you are very disappointed and you're feeling a whole bunch of negative feelings, but then that's the point, because you know that there is no point thinking that your DM is someone you can have emotional talks with. And I'll tell you this personal experience, all the other people I've worked with. Usually, it is very rare that you find a partner. It is very rare, okay? Listen to me. You find a partner with whom you can have all these deep, meaningful talks or discussions. What you also see on social media, because there are lots of couples and there are lots of people, even in my field, I've seen, even in the world of Twin Flame, I've seen a lot of coaches, healers, energy workers, they bring their partner to the sessions, or they bring on their other half or their twin flame in the sessions, and they discuss and they talk about relationships, dynamics, patterns. And I'm telling you, after the session, there are huge possibilities, high chances that they may not still be on the same page. They could be fighting, arguing, irritating each other, annoyed with each other, just like any other normal couple. So, the normalcy is that you will not get that feeling from your partner that you are trying to get, that they are going to understand you in all possible ways, that they're going to. Some people get it, it's okay, some people get it, but even then, I've seen that they've had to work on it, they've had to put time to it, they've had to have a very positive mindset. Some people are just really good with ignoring negative stuff, and they are good with most people, not just the partner, not just their divine counterpart, but everybody. They are like that. The frustration or the level of frustration keeps increasing when the chaser is expecting the runner to have this beautiful image. Basically, the mirror, it's not showing the right image, it's not showing a good image, it's not showing a happy image. So the chaser feels like in some cases the masculine can also be chaser when the roles are reversed, so they feel the frustration. But this is a loop, this is a cycle which every runner, chaser, or a person who identifies with this problem wants to get out. And it takes time, of course it takes time, it takes energy. And I'll also tell you one thing, things are just happening on its own. Things are also happenstance, life is also happenstance. Today, whatever you're crying for, it will not matter to you after 2 years, 3 years, after 5 years, 10 years. You won't even remember it. You won't even think about it. You won't even care about it. And I'm saying this with so much guarantee or surety is because 5 years back or 10 years back, you used to cry about something or crib about something or feel bad about something. But in today's time and date, it doesn't matter to you. You can look at your school examinations. There was a time when we used to, as students, used to be so freaked out about the exams. And look at us now. At that point in time, the exams and the marks and the Yeah, for parents, they used to talk about the fee, about the books, about getting this, getting that. So many things. I wanted to get a cycle, a bicycle. It was so important for me. When I got one, it didn't matter to me anymore after that. Like, okay, I have a bicycle, so what? I still have a bicycle, so what? It's a normal thing for me to have a good bicycle. But there was a time I used to be like, I need a good bike, I need a good bike, I need a good bike. Like maybe right now I could be thinking about something I want, but I'm not getting it, but I want it. So, a lot of things that we want very badly, very genuinely, usually we are gonna get it also. I think so. This is my analysis. Because what else do we talk about? We always talk about in our life the things that we want in future, but we are frustrated for it, desperate about it, and that's the fix that we do over there is the game changer. You want, let's say, a Mercedes, the high model, the top model, okay? It's impossible for you to get it right now, but you want it, you like it, you desire it, or any other car, okay, for that matter. And one fine day, let's say sometime later, you get it. You can get it if only you don't get frustrated about it. You can get it faster, maybe. In between. In between, the waiting period is what matters. Enjoying the waiting period is what matters. There's a nice story about a bhakt, a devotee, and Vishnuji. I don't know how many of you have heard about Vishnuji, you can Google. So, Vishnu and Lakshmi are the divine beings, gods, who are the preservers of planet Earth. Vishnu is like the most amazing, purest divine masculine, highest form of divine masculine. Lakshmi is also divine feminine. His counterpart, his divine counterpart, they're always together, they're always with each other. You don't even see their children with each other, they're always with each other, you know. And it's just one of the best couples, actually, according to me, whenever I look at the picture. The most amazing, relaxed, peaceful, happy, joyous, masculine and feminine. So there are many people who are devotees of Vishnu, okay? Because Vishnu is this really calm, generous, Lord God Almighty figure, okay? And whenever it requires him to end the evil, he comes to earth in a different avatar, and he has lived here as different avatars. One of the most loved avatar is Lord Shri Ram and Shri Krishna. These two most popular, most loved avatars. So both times they come with their divine counterparts and they play different roles. Okay, so there are different roles they play. We'll talk about it some other time. In this story, Vishnu is in his dimension, high dimension, with Narad Muni. Narad Muni is also one of the devotees of Vishnu, but he is a lucky one because he gets to be with Vishnu all the time. He's constantly chanting Narayan, Narayan. And there is a devotee on planet Earth, a bhakt, who is constantly thinking about Vishnu and he wants to meet Vishnu. That's his only goal, desire in life, that I have to meet Vishnu. Vishnu has to come and bless me with his divine appearance, show me his divine appearance. So he is meditating under a tree, he is working very hard, he is making all the efforts. So Narad Muni is very impressed by this devotee and his caliber, his potential, everything about him, all the efforts he's making, all the potential he has to reach to his goal. And he feels that he's really doing it so well, he's working so hard on himself, or let's say with so much precision, the mind precision is so good that he must meet Narayan soon. So he goes to Narayan and he talks to Narayan. He says, Narayan, you see this devotee of yours who's under that tree, you see, he is so amazing. When are you going to meet him? And the thing is that I actually went to see this guy, this dude, and he asked me this question. And now he's put me in this really weird situation because I promised to help him out. So basically, Narad Muni was so impressed by this devotee, he went to meet him, and the devotee's first question was, when will my Lord God Vishnu give me his darshan? When will I see him? And Narad Muni, who had otherwise gone to just praise him and motivate him, is now trapped, because most devotees know, who love Vishnu, know that Narad Muni is very close to Vishnu. He will definitely go and talk to Vishnu. He will definitely meet Vishnu. So he is smart, the devotee is smart, and he says, why don't you go and ask him? So Vishnu looks at this guy and he says, the tree that he's sitting under, the answer is, and you can tell him the answer, the tree that he's sitting under, that tree has many leaves. Okay. So whatever number of leaves there are on that tree, that many years later, I will meet him. He has to wait for that many years, that long. And Narad Muni is like shocked with that answer, and he's like, oh my god, that's not good. That's not fair. So much wait. Why he has to wait so much to meet you? Look at him. He's so brilliant. He deserves to meet you. That's his only desire in life. So Vishnu says, no, you know what? I don't know about all of that, but this is what is being shown to me, and this is how I see it. Right now, this is what he gets. You can go and tell him. So Narad Muni is really sad, and Narad Muni is like, okay, fine, I promised, I committed to him that I'll tell him, I'll let him know. So let me go and tell him. And he goes to that man, to the devotee, and says, you know what? I know you will not be very happy to hear this, but I have some kind of a bad news for you. And devotee says, what is the bad news? He says, first of all, I went to Narayan. I talked to Narayan about you. Narayan knows about you, and he told me that it's gonna take these many years, as many leaves are there on this tree under which you are practicing, that many years later you will meet Narayan. So Narad Muni is feeling a bit disappointed to be in that, space or that place. But he looks at the devotee whose eyes have lightened up. The devotee is so happy. The devotee is like, really? Narayan said that about me? Wow. Wow. Really? He's like, yeah. So you see, the positivity of this man is so amazing. First of all, according to him, he wants to meet Narayan, right? Narayan already knows about him. That is a great thing that has happened. Imagine you are worshipping someone and that person knows you. Not only that person knows you, but also gives a time that, okay, these many years later I'll definitely meet this person. Secondly, Narad Muni is so close to Lord Vishnu. Literally, he's like the closest assistant, you can say, or the closest person, you can say. And if such a person is also coming and directly talking to me, asking me about how I'm feeling, and then he's going to this higher dimension where Vishnu lives, and they are having a conversation about me, wow, that's just simply next level stuff. This devotee is so happy with that answer, which otherwise would disappoint a lot of people. It disappointed Narad Muni himself, okay? He starts dancing with joy. He starts dancing like he's got what he wanted already. For him, there is no wait anymore left. For him, there is no such thing as so many years and this and that, so many leaves and so many years. All he is happy about is that Narayan knows me, Narayan is going to definitely meet me. Narayan calculated the number of years, Narayan sent his own person to me. My goodness, I am the most amazing, like amazing as in my life is most amazing. And that's it. I don't want anything. Yeah, I do want to meet Vishnu, but what I got now is more than enough, is like too good. So he is dancing, Narad Muni is looking at this guy's dance, and now suddenly Narad Muni notices that Narayan has come to that spot, and Narayan is dancing with this devotee. Now both the devotee and Narayan are dancing together. And then Narad Muni is like, why these two guys should dance alone? I'll also dance with them. So they all three start dancing. Now it becomes a dance festival. Now, After a while, when the whole meeting has happened, now both Narayan, Narad Muni are alone. And Narad Muni says that if you had to meet the devotee so soon, so fast, then why the hell did you put me through this whole rigmarole of going to meet him, becoming the messenger, telling him that this much time will be taken and this and that, and I had to be the, the bringer of the giver of the bad news. Why did you do that if you had to meet him there and then? So Narayan said, no, there's no plan of meeting him there and then. First of all, you were very impressed by him, right? So you walked up to me and you wanted me to give the answer. So looking at the energy and everything, I gave the answer. But his joy, his gratitude was so high. His positive energy, his acceptance of the situation was so high that I had no option. The way he danced with joy on the news, which otherwise would disappoint anybody else, this man looked at only the positivity in that, only the good stuff in that, that it made me. I mean, I had no option. I had no other option, but I had to meet him there and then I had to join him. This is how things change. He changed, he shifted. His energy and the outcome instantly changed. This is the power of being a happy person, of being a happy soul. Being in gratitude, basically, not caring about what is going to happen and what will not happen. Just being happy, genuinely happy. Okay? So, my dear friends, your person, whosoever it is, in the mirror is not maybe showing you a great image, a great reflection. Okay? But there are so many other beautiful things in this world that are happening at the same time that you should put your focus on. Your focus should be on your work, your focus should be on your life, your focus should be on your career, your focus should be on God, basically. We have a direct access to source. But what we do is we forget about source, we forget about the main energy. The main character energy is source, which runs through us, which runs within us. We don't look at source and we start looking at the person in front of us, and we try to make that person the source of our joy. But it's another human being who is not even aware about the source energy in them. It's a normal person, and we are putting so many expectations of perfection on this person, and that person is not perfect, and that hurts us. So chasers, runners both want to protect their own hearts. They both think in their own ways that the twin did them wrong by not loving them for real, whatever their understanding of love is, and therefore they should be punished. They should punish them by blocking them out, quite literally and energetically, and it's very important for them to just not be in those energies. But when you're trying to punish other people, you also end up punishing your own self. Another account by a runner is an interesting account, is that it says even before getting rejected, the runner already imagined the rejection just by observing some traits of their twin flame. I mean, they were looking at the twin flame and they were like, if this person is behaving in A, B, C, D, E, F manner, then definitely this is a bad person. Definitely they will break my heart. Definitely they will run away. Definitely they'll reject me. Definitely they'll hurt me. Definitely they will do all sorts of horrible things to me. That's how the person thinks. And then ego comes into the picture. Ego is not always the measurement of good or bad. Ego simply means the attachment with your physical identity. That's why you need to have many ego deaths before you form the direct connection with source. Or for some people, the source connection is always there, but they keep forgetting about it. So there is a fear of getting humiliated, there is a fear of getting betrayed. This acts as a recipe for disaster. Just the fear of a failed relationship can become a self fulfilling prophecy. Actually, a lot of things that we fear about, they don't come true. This is also one thing that we have heard. But we still keep fearing. We live in fear. And then let's say things are not happening literally quite like that. But because you have the fear, you start looking for evidences. And when you start looking for evidences and you connect the dots in a negative way, then those dots will lead you to certain piece of information. Let's say there are two types of informations that are being given to you. One is the information that you look for on your own, and one is the information that comes to you. There's a big difference in these two pieces of information. One that comes to you naturally on its own is definitely being sent by divine, because divine wants you to act upon it, or divine just wants you to know about it. Divine wants you to understand one thing, that stop running after someone. Running after someone or chasing someone is the same thing. And maybe for some people, it's like stop running away from something or someone or some kind of feeling. You're just running away from total acceptance of yourself. You're just running away from letting go. You're just running away from this and that. Or you have a certain fear in your heart, and look, that fear is creating certain situations. Maybe that fear is not creating situations. The situations are also happening independently, but you are doing 1 plus 1, or you're making your own calculations and you're attaching them, those two different thought patterns, with one another. One could be a completely different event that happened on its own, and one could be something that you have been thinking or imagining in your head. So now you have combined those two, and the result is disaster. Or something that you say, oh, I always knew this would happen, and blah blah blah. And when it happens in some way, even if it's 50% there or very close, it is going to hurt you. It hurts people, right? So the runners imagine that their twin will definitely dump them sooner or later. The runners imagine that their twin flame, the divine counterpart, will definitely dump them sooner or later. They have the fear of rejection. They don't want to get humiliated. Or they feel that, I was bullied and this person is going to bully me again, or I had this kind of life and this person is going to put me back into that dungeon. So maybe for the runners also, they found a way to keep themselves happy. But they fear that someone is going to snatch away their happiness. Okay. They fear that if their heart would break, it would be too difficult to deal with the heartbreak. Or for a lot of chasers also, I've seen that they have some kind of desired outcome in their mind, and they fear that this outcome will not happen, and something bad is going to happen, something worse is going to happen. So no matter what they do, chasers and runners, they only seem to gravitate towards their twin. I mean, the relationship with their twin is very natural. I've said it in many videos that your marriage, your relationships, everything, all of these things are predestined. You think that you are choosing someone or something. You think that you're making certain choices in life, but you're not. Nothing comes close, according to them, nothing comes close to the love they feel for their twin, no matter how long it takes for them to realize it, but they realize it. Okay. Now, this is the understanding of love. This is the understanding of a relationship. I would say, let's say you're married and you've been in this marriage for quite some time. I've seen people's charts, I've done their reading, and sometimes it's very clear that they will not get separated at any cost. And for some people, yeah, they can get separated, or they're already in separation. But when I say twin here, today I will give you an interesting plot twist. When I say twin here, it's actually something that's within you. We call it twin Because if you study the nadis, there is a Ida nadi and there is a Pingala nadi. So there is a divine feminine nadi and there's a divine masculine nadi, both Ida and Pingala, both inside a person's energy body. Okay? Separation within leads to separation outside. So you naturally love the Ida Pingala, naturally are supposed to be in union. But for XYZ, whatever reason, it's not in union within. So you are going to look at the other person as a separate entity in your life. So this love a person yearns for is basically happening because you are separate inside and you need to unify within. And that's why I tell people, work on your 5D union, work on your inner union. Do not run after someone, do not chase someone. The person outside is simply reflection. There are lots of people, I'm going to address this also, there are lots of karmics, okay, who come between a masculine and feminine, between a couple, they try to come between, okay. Or this happens a lot in false twin flame relationships also. There are some karmic patterns that a person has to deal with. So there is a fear about the karmic. The karmic is going to do this, the karmic is going to do that, the karmic is this, karmic is that, blah blah blah. Mentally people fear the karmics, but marriages are created in heaven. And in India, in Sanatan, there was actually no concept. There still is not any concept of divorce or separation. And whatever dynamic God has given to you, people live through that. So there has been this fear of karmic or third parties who can lead to separation and this and that, or who act as those irritants. Sometimes even mentally they are irritating you. Mentally you are thinking about the karmic energy, this and that. So it's not like your partner doesn't have those fears. As much as, let's say, you are jealous or you're possessive or you want to you fear losing them, they feel the same way, and that's why convince you, that's why come to you, or they show gestures uh, to you because they don't want to go away from you. So battle is actually the fear, because every time you try to grow up or go out of that zone, that irritating zone, there are certain fears that pull you back, and you feel that if I'm not gonna act in a certain way, I'm not gonna do this or do that, then my person's gonna get snatched away, or my person's gonna go away, or this will happen or that will happen, blah blah blah. So you need to still be confident, you still need to do your work, you need to just keep on relying on source. You need to keep on living with this fact that source loves you and source has your back, and no matter what happens, source is going to take care of you. Source is going to protect you at any cost, protect you, protect your union, protect your relationship. See, that's why I always talk about source and God, because that makes us very powerful in the twin flame ascension journey. And this is where I will close this one. I will see you in the next one. For therapies and for readings, check out the description box. I will see you again.